It was the year 56 BCE, and the winds of change were sweeping across Gaul. Julius Caesar, the ambitious and brilliant general of the Roman Republic, had already achieved great victories across the vast expanse of the Gallic lands. But the tribes of Gaul, with their fierce independence, still resisted the iron grip of Rome. Among them were the Veneti, a tribe of seafaring warriors from the western coast of Gaul, in a region known as Armorica, modern-day Brittany, France. The Veneti were known far and wide for their mastery of the seas. Their ships, built from sturdy oak and adorned with intricate carvings, ruled the coastlines. For generations, they had controlled the strategic harbors and trade routes, making them a powerful force on the waters. But Caesar, ever eager to extend Roman dominion, viewed them as an obstacle to his plans. To him, their resistance was a challenge that needed to be crushed if he were to fully bring Gaul under Roman rule. The rising storm. The conflict began when the Veneti, along with several other Gallic tribes in the region, rebelled against Roman control. They resented Caesar's growing influence, seeing it as a threat to their independence. These were not just simple skirmishes, this was a bold challenge to Rome itself. The Veneti saw their fleet as their greatest weapon, and they were not afraid to use it. Caesar, on the other hand, was not one to back down from a challenge. He knew that the future of his conquest depended on securing not only Gaul's land but also its seas. To assert Roman power over the western coast, he would need to defeat the Veneti on their home turf. But there was a problem: the Romans were not a naval power. Caesar's army had crushed many Gallic tribes on land, but the sea was a different realm entirely. Despite this, Caesar was undeterred. He ordered the construction of a fleet, a collection of Roman ships capable of taking on the Veneti's superior naval forces. It was a daunting task, but Caesar's determination was unwavering. Roman engineers worked tirelessly to build ships strong enough to face the Veneti, and soon, the fleet was ready. The clash of ship with his new fleet, Caesar sailed to the western shores of Gaul, prepared for battle. The Veneti, confident in their naval superiority, waited for him, knowing they had the advantage in familiar waters. They had the faster, more maneuverable ships, and they were experienced sailors. Caesar, however, was not one to take his enemies lightly. The confrontation came in the Morbihan Gulf, a stretch of coastline where the Veneti had long held dominance. Caesar, in his wisdom, understood that brute strength alone would not win the day. His strategy was one of cunning and adaptability. He studied the tides, the winds, and the movement of the Veneti ships. He knew that he could not simply rely on his ship's speed and size, but instead, he had to outmaneuver them. The battle began with the roar of Roman war horns and the crashing waves against the hulls of both fleets. The Veneti sailed confidently, relying on their agility. But Caesar's ships, though new and untested, were built for close combat. As the battle raged, Caesar's marines, soldiers trained for seafaring warfare, boarded the Veneti ships with ladders and hooks, taking their enemies by surprise. The Romans fought with unmatched discipline and brutal efficiency. But the tides of war were not solely in Caesar's favor. A fierce storm suddenly swept across the Gulf, disrupting the battle and turning the Veneti's advantage into a disadvantage. The Veneti, known for their ability to navigate the sea, found themselves out of their element in the chaotic weather. Caesar's fleet, though still inexperienced, used the storm to its advantage, following Caesar's orders with unshakable resolve. The fall of the Veneti. In the end, the Romans prevailed. The Veneti fleet, which had once ruled the seas, was shattered. Many of their ships were destroyed or captured. The survivors, stripped of their naval power, were left vulnerable on land. The Veneti, realizing they had no hope of winning, surrendered. Caesar's victory was swift and brutal. He made an example of the Veneti to deter other tribes from challenging Roman authority. The leaders of the Veneti were captured and executed, while many of their warriors were taken as prisoners and enslaved. The remnants of the tribe were forced into submission. Caesar's punishment of the Veneti was a lesson to all who opposed him. Rome would not tolerate rebellion, no matter how mighty the enemy. The conquest of Gaul was now almost complete, and with the fall of the Veneti, Caesar had secured control over the critical western coastline. No longer would the seas belong to the tribes of Gaul. Now, they were Rome's to command. The legacy of the Veneti War. The Veneti War was a significant turning point in Caesar's campaign in Gaul. Not only did it demonstrate Caesar's strategic brilliance, but it also marked the beginning of Roman naval power in the western part of the empire. The victory over the Veneti allowed Rome to dominate the seas of Gaul, ensuring that the supply lines for Caesar's armies were secure and that no other tribes could use the coast to launch rebellions or raids. The Veneti War was a brutal reminder of the cost of defying Rome, and it solidified Caesar's reputation as a formidable general. It also reinforced the Roman belief that their empire would span the land and the seas. With the Veneti subdued, Caesar's conquest of Gaul was nearly complete, paving the way for his eventual rise to power and the transformation of the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire. In the end, the Veneti's downfall was a testament to the power of Rome, and a warning to anyone who dared to defy its might.